That's Dre's Tutoring. Hey guys, welcome to today's video where we'll be talking about hybridization. Now, if you guys haven't already, go ahead and check out some of the other videos that I have explaining stuff that you guys may have issues with on your AP exam, your final exam, high school, college, and all those great courses that you guys are required to take to graduate. So again, go ahead and check those out if you guys haven't. Everything is completely free. And let's get into today's video. So hybridization. Now, what is hybridization? It's the idea that atomic orbitals rise to form newly hybridized orbitals, right? Now, what does that mean? Well, if we were to take an example, well, first let me actually write out hybridization. And in this, it has the word hybrid. We know that a hybrid is a thing made by combining two different elements. A perfect example of this would be the Toyota Prius, where this car is considered a hybrid because it has gas and it has electric characteristics or elements, and these two elements are put together. So that's what a hybrid is. And we can do the same thing in chemistry, which is pretty interesting, where in your classes, they'll ask, what is the hybridization of a certain atom or molecule, right? So let's get into that. So I want to give one example, and this is how I'm going to kind of do it throughout the whole video. I'm just going to give examples of things that you guys may see and things that you'll be asked to do. And that would be to find the hybridization of some of these carbon molecules. So we want to say, what is the hybridization of this carbon? So we know that this structure is an alkane. And we are saying that this carbon is connected to 1, 2, 3, and 4 different things. So this carbon is connected to 4 different things. And then what does that mean? We can say S1, P3. Now, if we look at the exponents here, the exponents will add up to the amount of different things that carbon is attached to. Again, we said this carbon is attached to 1, 2, 3, 4 different things. So therefore, we have S1 and P3, and that makes up for the 4 bonds that carbon has made. All right. Now remember, S can only hold just 1, and then P holds up to 3. And another thing that we want to keep in mind is carbon's versatility and how it has the ability to make 4 bonds. That's why it's such a very important atom in organic chemistry, and it is very, very versatile, where it can bond 4 different things, as you've seen in this first example. So if we go on to our second example, we have this. All right, so feel free to, and we can go ahead and get into the answer. What would be the hybridization of this carbon? Go ahead and pause the video, guys. All right, so we know that this is an alkene because of the double bond. And if you want to learn more about IUPAC names, naming different compounds and things of that nature, I do have a video, and I'll have it stamped somewhere in the video. This is an alkene, and more specifically, it is called ethane. All right, now that we got all that extra stuff out the way, how many different things is this carbon bonded to? Well, let's count. It's bonded to this hydrogen 1, this hydrogen 2, and then it's bonded to this whole thing here. So that's 3. So it's bonded to 3 different things. So now that would be S1. And what would P be? P would be 2 because it's bonded to 3 different things. So we always want those exponents to add up to how many things that carbon is bonded to. If we go into our next example, let's take this. And again, pause the video and we'll jump right into it. I want to know the hybridization of this carbon. All right, so we know that this is an alkyne. Alkynes have triple bond characteristics, and this would be called ethyne. Okay, now let's get into the most important part. How many different things is this carbon attached to? We have 1 hydrogen here, and then it's attached to this whole thing here. So it's attached to 2. So what would that mean? It looks like we're having S1, P what? P1 is bonded to 2 different things. So those exponents add up to how many things it's bonded to. We're all good, okay? Now, let's go ahead and get into these different examples. That one was 4. Okay, so now let's get into this here. And this shouldn't scare you guys. What would be the hybridization here? At this right there. So we know chemists like to shorthand everything. We know that there's a carbon here, there's a carbon here, a carbon here, carbon here, carbon here, and carbon here. And in this instance, there would be, I call them invisible hydrogens here. Invisible hydrogens, right? Now again, in the center there's a carbon, there's 2 invisible hydrogens. So what would be the hybridization here? So this central carbon that we're talking about, it's bonding to, let's see, it's bonded to this hydrogen, all of this, and then all of this. So it's bonded to 4 different things. So we can write our 4 here, and that means we will have S1P3. And the exponents add up to the amount of different other things that central carbon is bonded to. So now if we go on to 5, let's see, we have Br. And we want to know what is the hybridization there. Now in this instance, we know that there's a central carbon here, right? And then we also know that there is an invisible hydrogen there. So we can now say that this carbon is bonded to 1, and this is called a methyl. A methyl. Here, CH3. CH3 and CH3. Anytime you see a line that's just naked like that, I like to call it, that is a CH3 or a methyl. So we want to know how many different things this central carbon is connected to. So let's start the count. We have 1, 2, 3, the invisible H, and then the rest of this. And in total, I'm counting 4. So we can go 4, and what would that be? S, P, 3. There's a 1 there. And again, these should add up to the amount of different things that carbon is attached to. All right, let's get into this example. This is a very interesting one. So all right, so what about this one? We want to know the hybridization of that carbon there. So let's go ahead and draw our center piece, which is our carbon. We discussed this section here before, where when it's naked like that, we drop our CH3. So how many different things is this one connected to? Well, we have a methyl here, 1. It's connected to this, 2. And remember, we have a very, very small hydrogen there that it will be connected to. So in this case, we have 3 things that it's connected to, and then that will give us sp2. All right. I hope you guys are getting the hang of this. It's not too bad, I hope. It's very simple to understand. Just definitely do a lot of practice. So how about this one? All right. So what would be the hybridization for this hydrogen? It's only connected to one thing. It would be connected to this whole thing here. Only one thing. So in that case, it's connected to one thing, and that one would just be S, because we have S1, and that's it. There would not need to be a p orbital because it's only connected to one thing. So that would be S for the hydrogen. How about this carbon? Well, we can see that this carbon is connected to this whole thing here, and it's connected to that one hydrogen. So it's connected to 2 things. 2 things. So all it would need is sp, right? We have the 2 exponents, 1 and 1, to add up to the 2. So the hybridization for this carbon would be sp. How about the hybridization of, let's see, this carbon? This carbon is attached to 4 different things. This hydrogen, all of this here, this hydrogen, and this hydrogen. I'm counting 4 in total. So 4, that would be S1, P3. 3 and 1 to add up to 4. So the hybridization of that carbon would be sp3. All right, guys. So that makes up the video. I hope you guys got a deeper understanding of hybridization and kind of how to write those out. I could definitely make another video later on talking about sigma and pi bonds so you guys have a better understanding there as well. Go ahead and leave a comment, guys. Thank you for everything. See you guys next video. Peace.